podcast.
Oh, that's bad. That's not the question. Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, we're live. It's Old Man G here back again for another Red Devil Studio live podcast. I'm joined by Shawnee, Josh, and Offside, a resident Chelsea fan who I'm sure is very, very happy still. Oh, that's not the question. Hey guys,
oh, sorry.
Hey guys, man, I always do this. Hey guys, we're live. I'm so sorry.
Every week.
Every week this happens. Anyway. So I just want to basically just get straight into it. So like no lily down, let's just get straight into it. The FA Cup semi-final review. Obviously Arsenal and Chelsea on the FA Cup semi-final. So before I come to Offside, because the Arsenal game was obviously played before. What were your thoughts on the game, Josh, with Arsenal beating City? Was it what you expected? Like, just how did that work? Like, what happened? What were Arsenal taking?
First of all, just want to say the defense was incredible. A lot of these pundits and stuff like that, Rio Ferdinand, people like Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, some other people were saying about Arsenal's defence and how it was uncoachable. They were bad, they were this and this. But it took only one reporter to like pretty much say, are you going to give them some credit after the performance they had at Liverpool and the performance they had at City? And Rio Ferdinand was like, it was kind of like a backhanded compliment that he gave for the defense. It was like, it didn't really feel like much of a compliment, But because these footballers do watch a lot of the pundits and they look at social media and things like that, so it does affect them. And someone like David Luiz, who under Antonio Conte, when he played in a back three in the middle, Chelsea won the league that season. People were saying he was incredible. He's always had a bit of a mistake in him, but I mean, there are players who are very good who have made mistakes all the time. You look at De Gea's.
We'll talk about De Gea in a second, but go on.
You look at even the Man United defenders back in there. I remember Vidic and someone else. He used to get terrorized by Fernando Torres, but people still said they were good, So obviously a lot of his consistency. That's what's been missing in the Arsenal team. Can they do this performance for 90 minutes when we put out our best team? But yeah, fair play to David Luiz. He looked like a leader on that pitch. He was the best player on that pitch, probably. Xhaka, fair play to him for all the. To be honest, Arsenal fans should be apologising to him. Obviously he swore at us and stuff. He had a lot of threats and things like that, and it was probably just too much for him. Football players, are human beings also, not just football players. And he's been immense. I have to be honest. Anytime he comes into the side, our our wins to loss ratio is much better with Xhaka in the side than without. If you look at the stats, so I'm just happy that we have results like this. It gives you confidence. Even if we lose this game against Villa, I know we're one down. I honestly kind of hope we do lose because I want Villa to stay up and I want Watford to go down. But yeah, it just shows with our best team we can beat anybody in the day. It's just about consistency. But very happy.
Cool. Okay. I'm gonna get KSI on in a second, just because he's if he's listening, he's going to be doing a forfeit at some point. If he remembers that clip. And before we go into Chelsea, what does everyone else kind of think about? So going to Sean and then Offside about that result that Arsenal just. Is Arteta now taking Arsenal in the right direction? What do you guys think?
Yeah. Go for it, Offside. Ladies first.
Oh, okay. Well, personally, I would say, of course, Red Devil, you know what's up. I predicted an Arsenal. I don't know if I said that to you, but before the game, I actually predicted that Arsenal will defeat Manchester City. Not necessarily because Arsenal have a better side, but I felt Arsenal had a lot to prove, and they seem to have a different drive. Like they're on a different gear entirely right now. They have more hunger after that 3-0 loss against Manchester City. City are more beatable as things are now. They're not as invincible as they were before. And I've always felt that since Arteta actually joined Arsenal, Arsenal have improved. They may not have climbed up the table, to get to Champions League places and all that, but there seems to be some form of stability in the side. I think it was before the break that Arsenal was the only team in the Premier League that was yet to lose a game in this calendar year, which of course was a statement of the growth they've made since he joined the side. Yeah, before he joined. Actually, if you remember, there were issues on the pitch, off the pitch issues. The players didn't seem on board with what the previous manager was actually trying to do. But it seems like he has brought some form of stability and leadership in the side. And everybody talks about David Luiz, saying how much how bad he can be sometimes. But credit to Luiz, I think the problem has always been his concentration. It doesn't mean he's necessarily a bad defender. There are times he puts out brilliant performances out there as a leader.
He
did that against Manchester City.
Offside. Sorry to interrupt you. Do you think that that's because you make about what David Luiz? Do you think that's because of the new system? Because obviously Arteta was playing a back three this time, and so there's a back three. Obviously, you have Luiz at Chelsea. So do you think that back three suits David Luiz better than playing in a back four?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, one can always say the extra man in the centre back was actually, of benefit to him. But you also remember that when David Luiz was at Chelsea, for the most part of it, he played he didn't play in a back three. I mean, he played as one of two centre backs for most of his time at Chelsea. So it's not necessarily down to that. Yeah, there were times where he made mistakes and made blunders and lost concentration, but he is still a fair defender, apart from the erratic behaviors sometimes. So definitely, as we saw on against Manchester City, he felt he had a point to prove, and he went out there, he did the job. It shows he has it in him. The only problem he seems to have is the consistency and the attentiveness at every point in the game. Now, I felt like Manchester City also underperformed. Surprisingly, Pep Guardiola's lineup was not. I still don't understand why he didn't start a striker in that particular game, and maybe he felt it was going to be so easy for him. Unfortunately, he lost against his former apprentice actually. So it wasn't so much of a surprise to me. Because Arsenal seemed like the hungrier side going into that particular one. Kudos to them, they're doing better. But then again, against Chelsea going to the final, I don't want to blow my trumpet yet, but then again, we'll talk more about that later. You know what it is.
Thanks for that, guys. Thanks. Shorty, as obviously outside, Liverpool already won their title. What are your thoughts? Do you expect Arsenal to win this?
To be honest, like at the moment, I'm expecting Arsenal to do well at everything that they do, because I didn't just see a turnaround within the last couple of games. I saw a turnaround in Arteta's first game. In their first game, there was an instant impact, and you could see that the players were playing for something and playing for the manager. And so it's not a surprise to me that Arsenal are now getting these results, because I saw it from the first game that Arteta took hold of them. So now it's just a matter of going forward and allowing Arteta to build his team, to back him and give him some money to get his philosophy and to get players who understand and are willing to play under his philosophy. So that's important for Arsenal going forward. But no, I'm not surprised that Arsenal are getting these results, because, like I say, I instantly saw promise and just a rebirth of Arsenal under Arteta in their first game. So no, I think the Arsenal team's trying hard, and I think that maybe at the moment they're behind in the game. I don't know if they're still behind or not. but not all the results are going to go the way that they want until they can get a couple of transfer windows, and I'm talking like 2, 3, maybe 4 transfer windows to get to where Arteta wants to be with this team, including bringing some of the youngsters through, until they're going to be a force again. So it's gonna take a little while. Like nothing turns around straight away. You can see that with Manchester United. You can see that with Chelsea. You can see that with even Liverpool. It took Liverpool a few years, or a little while on the Klopp to kind of get to the standard that Klopp expects from his players. So it counts for every team, and it's going to be exciting to watch going forward. Giorgio B, thank you, buddy. It's still 1-0 to Villa. So yeah, it's going to take them, but at least it's exciting to watch them again. And I'm not expecting them to lose. And I know that the results haven't gone quite their way in before the pandemic or just after the pandemic. But now you can still see that every single time Arsenal come on the pitch that there is fight in them, and there is a revival. So I'm hoping that in the next coming years we're going to have that, Manchester United versus Arsenal scrap again, because it's almost become just as big as a rivalry as most derbies have. So yeah, I think I'll probably just finish with my thoughts there. It's been a great turnaround by Arteta.
Thanks. Before I bring KSI in, because I have a certain clip that I need to play back to him following the result of this film. Tom, what were your thoughts on obviously as a United fan? Before we go to the Chelsea sort of game, but I want you to comment specifically, just briefly, on your thoughts on Arsenal versus City.
I thought it was a masterclass from Arteta. Quite clearly done his homework on his ex friend, mate, pal, whatever you want to call it, whatever the Manchester term is for a friend. He's clearly done his homework on Pep. The way you beat Pep Guardiola is you stay very compact. You press their team to the highest level that you can, and you hit them on the counter attack. Clearly showed it. In that game. With Aubameyang, I think it was the second goal. It was straight from a counter attack on the left hand side. Fed the ball through to Aubameyang, blitzed the defenders, slides the ball through Edison's legs, bang, 2-0. Game done and dusted. Quite clear Arteta knew what he was doing. And like Shawnee said, with Arsenal, you could see the instant change in Arsenal from the first game that he took charge. I've seen that at all of the clubs. I've seen that at Man United. The first game Solskjaer took over, there was an instant change around the place. Exactly the same with Frank Lampard at Chelsea. And the reason why there's been this change at these teams is these players know what it means to play for that football club. That's why. Arteta played at Arsenal for many years, won trophies there. So he knows what is expected at Arsenal. Same with Ollie at Man United, same with Frank at Chelsea. They know what it means to play for that football club and what it means to win there. So in terms of what Arsenal have done, Arteta's been in the job, I don't know how many. He's only been in there a couple of months. He's had no transfer windows. He's took over from another man's team and he's got to an FA Cup final. I think that's an amazing achievement in itself. He's not even brought any players in and he's got them to an FA Cup final. And, I completely agree with what Shawnee said, that Arsenal, for me, are the favourites in this final. I know Chelsea might sit higher than them in the league, but really, what do Arsenal have to play for in the league? The Europa League places, that's it. But if they win the FA Cup, which is a trophy for them, they'd love that to win a trophy, obviously. Chelsea's qualifying for the Champions League, so then they can focus on, obviously, getting the FA Cup. So it's going to be a good final, really. Whenever Chelsea and Arsenal faced each other in any sort of final, it's always been drama, entertaining, like the Europa League final was last season. It was entertaining to watch because it was a final. Exactly the same with this final this year. it's going to be better than the final last year. You know, Manchester City Watford wasn't really a final. Arsenal Chelsea is a final for me. You know, because both teams are in the process of rebuilding. A trophy would do better for them. Personally, I'm going to slide it towards Arsenal. I think that, you know, the amount of pain that they've suffered over the years of failure and not really winning anything and getting embarrassed week in, week out. I think that they just deserve to have that hurt. No, let me finish though before you get. But like, you get that bit of a celebration because you've not lifted the trophy for quite a while. That's where I'm trying to get at.
No,
You've not lifted the trophy for a while, and then, you know, it gives you something to shout about, something to celebrate. And like Shawnee said, we all, you know, that rivalry between Man United and Arsenal, it's not a derby, but that is one of English football's greatest ever rivalries. And if that can recoup in the following years to come, when both teams restructure and rebuild, then it's going to be very entertaining. There's going to be some very entertaining fixtures and performances and matches to go forward. But if I had to put somebody forward to win the competition, I'm going to say Arsenal are going to have a bit too much for Chelsea at the moment.
Okay, bro. Now I'm just gonna get. Let me just see. KSI, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Right. I'm gonna mute you for 2 seconds. I need to play this clip. I know you can hear it, so let me just quickly. Everyone can hear it as well. Let's just hear this for a second.
But they just let me down this season. I think Arteta is just not good enough for me personally. He's not good enough. He's just crap for Arsenal. He's probably the worst manager in Arsenal history.
How is he the worst Arsenal? How is he the worst Arsenal manager in history? Are you saying Unai Emery was better?
I don't know what I can hear.
Yeah, Unai Emery was way better than Arteta.
Even though he left them in the position that they're in now, and he hasn't had a transfer window.
But you're on about, man, I'm judging on right now, and I'm seeing Arteta's weaknesses, man. He's too tactically naive, and he won't change with this club and these owners, man. It's just a failure. Emery's better than Arteta, personally. I think he's better because, look, you're judging him at the way he left Arsenal, but that wasn't really Emery's fault, I don't think. Of course, there was parts to blame with Unai Emery, but it was mainly the players' fault that Arsenal were in that position. But of course, it was Emery's fault, and he did need to go. But I think Emery's better than Arteta, and I think Arteta on Sunday, you know, just proved why he's not a great manager for me. I think Arteta's. I don't see any philosophy, and you know we were like this under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after we got battered by Watford every week. But now we see a philosophy. Now we know the project, and now we have a little bit of faith with Ole. But we've not seen anything. But we have seen something with Arteta. I think he's just a counter-attacking manager personally, or a counter-pressing manager where you sit back, but your front line just keeps pressing. That's what I think Arteta is. Right. But I don't see him as an attacking philosophy manager. As for Tottenham, I don't know, before we move on to the next topic, I think Tottenham personally, you know, just I think it's better than Arsenal. I think Mourinho just showed a level of Arsenal.
Okay. I think there's more. There's probably a lot more. KSI, after hearing that, what are your thoughts? There's more actually, but I thought I would touch it.
You people, right? You know who I'm talking to, right? You people need to relax, okay? Arteta got one result. What is the score right now?
Two results.
Right now.
I think at the end of the clip we said about a forfeit because you said you said.
Are you doing your forfeit? Yes or no?
Right now, tell me, G. Tell me.
It doesn't matter to me. It's just
answer.
You answer the question when you're doing your forfeit.
I think that's it. When are you doing your forfeit? That's the real question here.
Tell me the forfeit at least.
Okay. Well, Josh, I think being that Josh is the Arsenal fan, like I think he should decide what the forfeit is. So what is the forfeit?
Oh, this is gonna be brutal.
Didn't he have? Wasn't there another one for Liverpool winning the league?
Wait, what?
There certainly was. If Liverpool win the league, you will do a forfeit.
So you
Oh
want?
yeah, that was at
Yeah,
the
it's
start
like
of the
a
season.
double forfeit.
What are we
So
doing? What are we doing here,
Well,
Shawnee?
I think first of all,
I said Liverpool would win the league. The hell? I said Liverpool would win the league.
no, you said if
I
Liverpool
don't
win the league, you do a
want to
forfeit.
dig out the clips, man. You making me have to dig out the stuff that you said.
I think the first thing you should do is take that satanic goat off of your symbol.
Where's that? I can't see it.
It's the Baphomet. It's the Baphomet
Oh.
that's associated with Satanism.
Oh, the God,
which is-
comments.
which is representative of child sacrifice. So the first forfeit is to get that the hell off your screen.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Sean. I think that is a good.
I can't actually see it, or else, yeah, I didn't even see
I
that.
think it's in the comments. It's in the comments.
All right.
So anyway, let me just. Anyway, we'll come back. We'll come back to your forfeits at the end of the show because we need to move on. So, but and I think offside's just gone. I have to message. I think there's a bit of a connection, but anyway, I'll try and get her back because we're speaking about Chelsea in a second.
Yeah.
So just last thoughts, just KSI, just before we discuss United Chelsea. What are your final thoughts on the Arsenal City performance?
Look, man, we have to give some credit to the frauds. They didn't.
You better question what you say because it might affect your
You're
performance.
gonna end up doing another forfeit.
And the people, Pep Guardiola was not at fault on Saturday. Pep Guardiola was not at fault. If you think Pep Guardiola was at fault, you're a stupid buffoon. And you don't know anything about football. It was not Pep Guardiola. It was the players that they were just off. They were just off that day. Arsenal
They've been off for most of the season.
Arteta is like Jose Mourinho, not Pep Guardiola. My man's like defensive manager. He's not an attacking manager. Arteta is not good for Arsenal.
All I could see is one team played with a recognised forward and the other team didn't, and that's essentially the problem.
Just one moment, old man G. City actually had no shots on target.
Yeah, they actually didn't. That's the funny thing.
So I don't know what he means about.
I think Arteta
City had.
is not. I think. Listen.
Did you hear what they said though?
I don't think.
No, go. Okay, KSI, speak. Yeah, go on. Speak. Go on.
I don't think Arteta is the right manager for Arsenal. It's in my opinion.
That's fine.
Right? And when we get to the Chelsea Man United, I'm gonna get heated with you and Tom because I believe some nonsense will come out one of your mouth, and it's not being me, but like you, of course, we're talking about the hair, and I've got a rant.
Oh, for God's sake!
But final thoughts on Arsenal: very good performance. They just need to keep up consistency, but right now they're losing. So yeah, consistency, nothing. Arsenal just crap, bro.
But you know, we seem to be forgetting something. Yeah. Arsenal's victory over Manchester.
Go on, offside, speak.
Yeah, we seem to be forgetting something. Arsenal's victory over Manchester City wasn't just a one-off. Personally, I saw a build up to that particular victory. Don't forget, they beat Liverpool just days before that particular game. So it says something. They beat Liverpool before that game. So it says something about the mentality that is being built in the side, which is a surprise to me when you say, sorry, I didn't get the name, when the person that just spoke before me now said Arteta is not the right manager for Arsenal. Arsenal are not the Arsenal of the 4 years ago. Arsenal is not Manchester City, so they have to build from somewhere. I feel he is the perfect manager they need at this point. I mean, he seems sound. He's just starting on the job, and it's like a match made in heaven, in my opinion. They have to grow together. He's a legend. I don't know if you guys consider him a legend for the club, and he's well respected across the world of football. So I feel at this point it's up to the club to support him and give him time to build what he wants to build. Guardiola did not do it in a twinkle of an eye at Manchester City, even with all the money he had at his disposal. Klopp did not do it a twinkle of an eye. Even Lampard hasn't done it in the twinkle of an eye. What he is doing now, the money, the support he's getting in the market is as a result of what he has been able to do with the course of the season. So I feel like personally, I feel Arteta is basically literally what Arsenal need at this time. He's delivering. I don't know what Arsenal fans expect from the side that is not backed by the board. But for me, for now, and so far this season, they've done fine.
Okay, thanks, Osai. Appreciate it. And to wrap that up. So, before we finish off this segment, we're gonna touch an offside. You're obviously the Chelsea fan, and obviously I was on another podcast where we had discussing, but there was another semi-final, and that was between Chelsea and Manchester United. Now, because we have, I think, 3 Manchester United fans want to have to say, KSI seems to want to go at me and Tom for some strange reason.
I'm licking my lips.
But before we let him on and Tom on, I want you, as a Chelsea fan, just to have your say on how you guys won that semi-final against United.
I'm still licking my lips, Red Devil. How do you want it? How do you want it served?
Just go easy on us. That's all I can say.
Before the game, you guys, United fans, just went on reeling on about beat Chelsea, beat us 3 times, he beat us 3 times, Lampard is this, Lampard is that. And there was a conversation I had with you. You asked the question, you said, if Ole should defeat Lampard for the 4th time this season, would we consider Lampard a success? And I said, yes, I still consider him a success. But he has to, review why he has lost to, the same manager 4 times in a season. And what I saw from Frank Lampard on the day in that game against United was obviously a coach, a manager that's been thinking, has been working, has been trying to find a way to, outwit his opponent. For whatever reason, Ole, proved to be the Ole that he is, proved to be the manager that shouldn't be at this level with Manchester United. And he rested, for whatever reason, in the semi-final, knowing that you have to meet Arsenal in the final. He chose to rest his best players, which for me was weird because ideally you would want to, it's about winning the trophy, right? You still have an opportunity, besides making the top 4, you still have an opportunity to make the Champions League by winning the Europa. So, it's not like all doors have been shut for you to making the top 4 Champions League places. So, for whatever reason, he showed his inexperience and that was what he did. But Lampard, on the other hand, decided to change things around, and obviously, even the injury to Eric Bailly seemed to change things a little bit. But at the end of the day, Chelsea outwitted. I'm not going to talk so much because I know other guys are waiting to talk. But here's the thing: Lampard proved why he is competing with Ole at this point, even though he's just into the 2nd year of his career as a manager, 1st time at the club, without any players being brought in, lost his best player, the club's best player, the past 7 years. And he is competing with Ole and even being mentioned in the same breath as Ole is a testament to how good he is and how much he's willing to learn and improve on the job. After this season, you guys should not even mention Ole anywhere next to Lampard. There's levels. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what happens at the end of this week. Let's see what happens at the end of this week. We'll see. We'll see.
You're always hopeful. I keep telling you. You're always hopeful. You keep hoping on the future. And when
Nice.
you get here and he doesn't support you, you look for another excuse. Don't give us don't tell us yeah, it was De Gea that made mistakes. Excuse me. Goals are as a result of mistakes. Mistakes happen, and that's why goals happen. It's nobody's fault, even if you had 10 men. Yes.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
It's either the person should have marked better or the goalkeeper should have dived this way. It's literally how football works. It's not my business if your goalkeeper made a blunder. Everybody started the game with 9 players on the pitch. Capiche?
Oh my God!
Wow.
That's why you're on. That's what the Chelsea fan opinion. Thank you for that. No, I'm actually grateful because it's good to have actual diversity of opinion and that you can't just have all Manchester United fans just speaking all the time. So, and I respect that. So, we've all taken the L as United fans, and we all say that Chelsea were the better team and deserve obviously to go into I'm going to obviously take it back because I'm hosting, so you're not going to hear what my point. But just Tom, before I go to KSI, what were your thoughts on obviously that loss?
Well, you can't, like I say, you couldn't really argue saying Chelsea didn't deserve to win the game. The first half was an absolute shambles. The team selection, yes, could have been improved. Pogba might have gone in the midfield. Martial might have been on the field. But it's a case of we are in the top 4 race. This team has played together. Our best starting 11 has played together for, I think it's 4 or 5 consistent matches. It's not been changed. So obviously, there's players are going to be tired of playing. Obviously, week in, week out. We're playing a game nearly every 3 days. It's not really that helpful when you're playing. Nearly 3 games in a space of 10 days. It's not exactly amazing.
Yeah, I think people need to realize under normal circumstances, this wouldn't. But it's obviously
no, it wouldn't, because you'd play a game on you'd play like the game like on Sunday in the FA Cup, and then we wouldn't have played the West Ham game on the Wednesday. We would have played the West Ham game on a Saturday, and then the Leicester game would have been the following Saturday. So you would have had a week's rest.
Yeah,
and this is what I mean. So in terms of rest, that's probably the reason why we didn't play our best players, like you've just stated there, that United didn't play as best players and stuff. That's probably the reason why. When we brought the best players on in Martial and Pogba, it was too late anyways. But like I said, with the goalkeeper, I'm not gonna beat around the bush with it, to be honest with you. He's not been at his best for the past 18 months to nearly 2 years, let's be honest. I can think of at least 4 games in the league where he's cost us points from goalkeeping errors. That before you go, that's 3, 6, 9. That's 12 points, and we're in a top 4 race. Them 12 points, if we didn't make them goalkeeping mistakes in them games, them 12 points could decide. We would have already qualified for the Champions League now, because in them 4 games that I can name, because I can name the Everton game at Goodison Park, that mistake with Calvert-Lewin, that cost us 2 points. Because if that mistake doesn't happen, we win the game 1-0. Out of the maths, we win that game 1-0. Exactly the same with the Watford game. The Watford game was 0-0, and he made that silly error where he's gone to jump for the ball, and the ball's gone through his hands. The ball's in the back of the net, we're 1-0 down. So and that that could easily be avoided. And like I said with this goalkeeper, I think I did over-exaggerate on Neek's job by saying the most overrated goalkeeper in the world. I do take that back before I get any more slate for that. At the time,
yes, guys, ready to come on, man. Ready to come on.
At the time, I was furious about it. Okay, so but in terms of like I've just said, it's happened for too long. Yeah, you can argue he's been at the club for a decade, but the best goalkeepers in the world don't make mistakes like that. And we've got to think David De Gea is the most highest paid goalkeeper in world football on 375k a week. Exactly. And he's making these schoolboy errors for the past 2 seasons. Like I've said on Kieran's channel, Red Devil Weekly, I've went on his channel just for the first 10 minutes and I've come on to here. I said to him on his channel there that I don't think David De Gea is the number 1 next season. I think Dean Henderson needs to take over from him. Not necessarily sell David De Gea. Not necessarily sell David De Gea. No, let me finish. Dean Henderson in that cup final, I put the question to Kieran. If Dean Henderson was the goalkeeper in that match, would Dean Henderson have made them 2 goalkeeping errors?
If Romero was the goalkeeper
and I said Romero was in there, would he have made them mistakes? And Kieran said no, because they know what they're doing. They're experienced goalkeepers. A goalkeeper at this level doesn't make them mistakes week in, week out. But it's happened for too long now. And that's why I think we need a change. Not necessarily blaming it all on David De Gea, because Victor Lindelof's marking of Giroud for the first goal could have probably been better, if I'm being honest.
Okay, this is one thing. I cannot accept that. I cannot accept it because Olivier Giroud is 33 and has 0 pace. I can't understand.
Exactly. One thing that I say to that. One thing that I say to this though.
Giroud Please tell me. Please tell me
but
how.
one thing that I'd say to this is for the whole game, Harry Maguire was the man who was tasked with containing Olivier Giroud, because neither of them are the quickest in the world, but they're both threats in the air. You know, they're both good in the air, so they counteract each other out. But for that one part in the game where it was Giroud who targeted Lindelof rather than Maguire was on him, that's what's caused the incident, because Victor Lindelof isn't the best in the air. Giroud knows that. He's used his footballing IQ to know that. I mean, he's just sneaked in front of him.
Goes past him. He runs past him.
Exactly.
Right.
But
How?
But the problem is, he shouldn't have run past him in the first place, because he should have been goal side of him. So that's a defensive error there again. So I put David De Gea to blame for the semi-final, sorry, and I also put Victor Lindelof at the fault. The own goal for Harry Maguire for me didn't really mean much, because I think Rudiger would have tapped it in anyways. So it's not really, the end of the world. But in case of it, this goalkeeper cannot be trusted at the highest level. I look at Liverpool. Liverpool's a prime example. Loris Karius. Liverpool got to a Champions League final. Loris Karius made 2 mistakes in a Champions League final for Liverpool. Right, in the summer, they got rid of him straight away just because of that. It's the highest level of goalkeeping in European football, and he does that. It's no different to the FA Cup. The FA Cup's an amazing trophy to win in English football. You're doing that at Wembley.
If I can just quickly interject,
why David De Gea is not the goalkeeper for Manchester United next year. It's got to be Dean Henderson for me.
Sorry, Tom.
So you keep a goalkeeper, the highest earning goalkeeper on the bench for Manchester United.
Lee Grant's already leaving anyway.
Invisible?
I'm not being funny. David De Gea is the most highest paid goalkeeper in the world. Let's say he was in the Chelsea team and he made these mistakes for the past 2 years. You're telling me you would keep him in the net?
Has made that mistake for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you all wanted to get rid of Kepa and get a new goalkeeper in anyway.
Exactly, but we're not keeping him on the bench.
Difference
That's
at Man
the
United?
point.
So what's the difference at Man United? It's the exact same, except we've got the highest paid goalkeeper in the world.
No, what he's trying to say is that he's made a mistake, but in a practical sort of sense, yes, they're trying to offload him, get rid of him, but he's cost 75 million, so he's got to play regardless until they can get rid of him.
Exactly.
He's got to play, and it's the same thing with De Gea. So unless we find a way,
I wasn't a major fan of De Gea even signing the contract anyway, if I'm being honest. He wanted 400k a week from what I'm being heard, but we knocked him down a bit.
Let me get Tom. Let me get Kate because I think he's been waiting for us. So
it's fine.
What are your thoughts?
Now these fans, right, are absolute disgrace, right?
Right. Okay.
These fans are the worst
Unmute.
I've ever seen. Absolute disgrace, man.
Right. Okay. Get to the game. Get to the game. Talk about the game, not the fans. The time.
Now I have no respect for you, bro. That agenda against Bolivia is unreal. I was the same as you a couple of weeks ago and a couple of months ago. I admit that. But now I realize the truth. And the truth is, Harry Maguire is a waste of space centre back. He's a waste of centre back. You can't compare against, top elite. Look, have you seen what Aguero did to him? Have you seen what Maguire did to him? Have you also seen what the Partizan player did to him as well? Partizan Belgrade. Let that sink in. Lindelof this season is the person, by the way, start here, and I'm not start merchant, but of course, lots of you are on about Van Dijk, right? He is the person, I think this is true, to not got a dribbled pass in the Premier League. Let that sink in.
What, Lindelof?
Lindelof. Yeah, than Harry Maguire. That's flop, man.
He got outpaced by Olivier Giroud, buddy, man.
He doesn't. Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not saying Maguire is good, but I don't accept you getting outpaced by Olivier Giroud. I'm sorry.
Maguire is far better than Lindelof.
Thank you.
Oh, you mean?
Yeah, Eric. I've always said, and I've said
Eric Bailly is the best defender at Man United.
I've always said that.
But he's too injury prone, so he can't play 40 games a season. That's the problem. He'd be the perfect partner for Harry Maguire for me. Maguire and Bailly. Just for now, until we find maybe someone better.
Yeah, I agree.
Mate, you don't. Okay, now.
Okay. Anyway. Forget about the. Just speak about the game. Speak about the game. We need to move on.
People need to stop with David De Gea. Who saved us for the past 5 seasons? David De Gea. Who's the defense?
That's in the past. We're in the present.
Defense back then. Nothing about the defense. Every pressure is on David De Gea. Every pressure is on David De Gea.
Oh my God.
People complaining about De Gea.
Why did Romero get dropped? No. Why did Romero get dropped? Answer that question. Why did Romero, who got to the semi-final, both times the Caps won Cup in this, and was in goal for us in the Europa League when we won the league?
Oh.
Why did Romero get dropped? Give me a reason why he was dropped.
Bad game management.
Because now what's happened is that because he's made those mistakes, he's now mentally going into that West Ham game with a level of.
He shouldn't play the West Ham game.
Don't do that. You
shouldn't play the West Ham game.
Play Romero, and then if it goes to pot, you can at least bring David De Gea back in the league game. Now you put more pressure on the David De Gea for the West Ham game.
I think you forgot.
What have I forgot? Oh my goodness, man! Are you really gonna bring what? Okay.
Man United fans, oh man.
Oh my God.
Against Norwich, we're comparing that in quote mistake to what we just saw in the Chelsea game.
David De Gea was also a mistake, but Romero, nobody's gonna put Romero.
Right. Can I put a question to Kasim quickly? Can I put a question to
Romero is
Kasim?
too good to be a backup. I keep saying that.
I agree. Offside.
Can I put a question to Kasim?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Tom.
I say much more about people now. People are not giving the credit that he deserves. This is absolute disgrace. Manchester fans are a disgrace.
I can't even hear him anymore.
Right, can I put a question towards him then?
Credit.
Sorry, I need to.
People claim credit to Lukaku, Rashford in 2018, Mourinho's second season, but they didn't give that much credit to De Gea just because he's a goalkeeper.
Oh my God! 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh my bro! Look at what you're saying. Look at what you're saying. The gender bias, bro. You need to stop with the gender bias.
Did he make a mistake
4 or
against
5 years ago, man?
Did he make a mistake against Chelsea or not? Did he make a mistake against Everton or not?
Mistakes for the last
Did he make
2
a
years.
mistake
That's
against
cost us.
Watford or not? Did he make a mistake against Burnley or not?
Oh my God, I'm sick of all this crap.
And David De Gea is still not past his people. David De Gea for me is right.
If we don't get top 4 because he makes a mistake.
Oh, he's getting rid. He's getting sold for me. I don't care. He's off to Madrid. I'll pay him off.
This is getting into Manchester United sort of thing. So this is a European podcast thing. So we're going to move on from this because I think I will do a separate show later where we can have a more in-depth discussion about Manchester United. This is not a Manchester United podcast show. So let's just put this to one side and let's just focus on the new topic. So apologies for those who are watching. So let's actually, well, fun enough, top 4 showdown. This is actually the next. This is actually the next topic that I don't want to spend a lot of time on. But it is. But I want to let because Sean, obviously Liverpool already. Liverpool won the title, so I want to start with you, and then obviously Josh because Arsenal are getting top 4. So Shawnee, looking at going into the final week, and obviously there's games tomorrow and Sunday. With obviously Man City's bound to return and Liverpool secure. Given the game, who do you see getting top 4?
Yeah, well, it's a tough one to call because Leicester have been so sporadic since they came back. So it's a tough one, really. I think it literally is between Leicester and Man United. So it just depends on who turns up on the day. I can see Leicester being more under pressure than Man United. I think Man United, I just think to themselves, right, the momentum is with us, boys. Let's just do it. Let's just get this last game finished and let's just do it. Where I think it'll be more difficult to pick up the Leicester lads, knowing how sporadic they are. So I think the momentum is with Man United, and I think Man United could potentially do it. And that's going back on what I said originally. Originally, I said that Leicester might just about hang on, and that is still a possibility. But because Man United have played so well and they've got a lot of momentum behind them, they could just about push it through now. But yeah, it's a tough one to call. I think once again, I don't know what Liverpool's going to turn up, whether it's the Championship Liverpool or the after Championship winning Liverpool against Chelsea. I think Chelsea might just stay there, even though I think we're going to have to put on a performance against Chelsea because we're going to lift the cup after the game, and it's just going to be sweeter if it's a win. So yeah, it's not necessarily, of course not. Like I say, it just depends on what Liverpool turns up. But I would suggest that Klopp at least rallies them enough to get a win on on the day that they lift the trophy, just to kind of put the cherry on top of the celebrations.
And we're going to be waiting for you guys to do that because we need you to spank Chelsea. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
No,
So
no. You guys won't do this. No, please. Liverpool, remember we helped you guys win the title. I know you are going to win it. Just before you rush me, just take it slowly. I know you guys were definitely destined to win the title. But
then
only for you guys and set a record for you with 6 games to go. It could have been with 5 games to go. Please.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like you might be quite fortunate because on the day it might be the Liverpool that's just looking at their plane tickets before the game rather than who they're playing. So it just depends on what Liverpool turns up. At the moment, I mean, the first game after we won the Premiership against Man City, it's the first time that I saw Van Dijk just looking at someone run past him. I mean, Joe Gomez was in right trouble. Van Dijk could have just, stepped across to help him, but he was just sort of walking over. And even the camera caught him just having a little smile at Gomez when the first goal went in against City. Just sort of look at that, you made an error. So it's just a bit of a laugh for them at the minute, which I don't agree with. Because the fans are still going to the away games, they're still going to the home games. They want to see a performance and they want to see them win. So I think, I don't know. I can't predict Liverpool and I can't predict Leicester. They're the two unpredictable teams right now. And so Chelsea might come across a team that's really up for it, or they might just come across a lackluster, a team that has just won the Premiership and they really don't care. Because it's so difficult, right? Because I'll only talk about this literally for just a second. But when they read all the media of well done, lads, you've done it. It's done now. That sucks motivation out of the players, and it's dangerous to read that. So it's so tough, even a manager like Klopp, to get his boys to that height of adrenaline to win games. That I really, really can't tell which Liverpool's gonna turn up, because after 15 minutes of seeing the old Liverpool, we just kind of drop off. It kind of just looks like a back garden team. It looks like something that you watch in the school playground. So yeah, it could be that Chelsea get a really good result, and it could be that they get absolutely battered. I really can't tell, but I think momentum with Man United. I might change my mind. I think maybe they'll just about clinch it. I said Leicester might just hang on. It's up to them. The pressure is on them, though. I'm sure that they don't want to lose it right now. But with Man United, it's come on, lads, we might as well have a go, rather than come on, let's just hang on. Where's the pressure? The pressure's with Leicester. So I think I might change my mind and say that United. But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. I'm Shawnee. Josh, top four, just briefly, who do you think makes it? Obviously, not just third and fourth, because obviously we know Liverpool and City are fine. So who gets those final two spots going into last week?
I think Chelsea and Man U. Brendan Rodgers is just a master of balling things. Leicester have had what? Leicester have had how many points? Leicester have had how many points since the lockdown? Since the Premier League restarted?
Yeah, they've dropped a lot.
Right, compared to the
I think there was like 10 points clear of everyone else.
2 wins
like
in the
right. There we go.
2 wins in the last 5, 2 losses.
Okay. Okay, and you know, it's honestly Brendan Rodgers. He's weird because he's the type of manager who definitely does improve players. I mean, if you look at their squad, you know, they sold Harry Maguire. They got rid of Idrissa Gueye the summer before. They sold players like Mahrez, etc. Kante as well. And yet they're a top 4 side this season, and they should have easily been in the top 4 this season, no problems. But Brendan Rodgers has this, I don't know if it's this psychological block. When he gets into these positions, he just seems to, you know, we've seen it with Liverpool in the past. Liverpool were clear. And then I think it was the Palace game. You guys were up like 3-0, I believe, in that game. And Brendan Rodgers decides, you know what? Let's bring more attackers on. Instead of defending the lead, let's bring more attackers on. And then Crystal Palace ended up coming back and drawing the game. So there's just something, I don't know, something dodgy about his tactics, man, or the way maybe he kind of thinks he gets like what's the word I'm looking for? He's like sailing, you know. It's like plain sailing for him. He's on chill mode, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're possibly looking at getting out of the top 4. So honestly, that's how I see it. I think Chelsea and Man United have the momentum right now. Man United look really good. I know they just lost to Chelsea, but you know, a few mistakes. Obviously, Chelsea pressed the life out of them for 90 minutes almost. So credit to Chelsea too. And Chelsea seem to be scoring 2 or 3 goals a game as well. So I know their defense isn't great, but I think at this stage that I know they're facing Liverpool, but you know, Liverpool haven't had the best form recently, and they're thinking about their holidays now. So yeah, I think third Chelsea, fourth Man U.
Third Chelsea, fourth Man U. Okay, offside, a resident Chelsea fan. Hi, Abigail. I hope you're doing well. Offside. Who gets those final 2 positions?
Well, of course, Chelsea will take third place. And I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I would have said Leicester City would take fourth place. But then again, with a team managed by Brendan Rodgers, somehow they've managed to bottle it at the business end of the season. And I think United, except they crumble and except if they don't put out a better performance than they did against Chelsea in the FA Cup, I feel like they're guaranteed a place in the top 4, certainly. But that final game against Leicester City, I think it's still open. It's very much open, because if Leicester City defeats Manchester United on that last day, I think there's a chance that they could still make it into the top 4 places. So Chelsea definitely don't have to take anything for granted. They have to ensure they don't lose any of their last 2 games. You know,
you need at least one win out of 2 to secure it. So I think, from what I understand.
Yeah, 1 win out of 2. 1 win out of 2 to secure top 4. But to take fourth place, I don't know. To take third place, I mean, they have to ensure, because me at this point I've moved beyond top 4 and I'm looking at third place for obvious reasons. I mean, I can't imagine Manchester United coming all the way to. No, that's not acceptable. Please, our standard is way higher.
So you think you're going to get third place then?
By the way, Villa are absolutely playing unbelievable right now. Just to put it out there.
Yeah, they are. I'm watching
absolutely
the
playing unreal. I know. KSI is probably going to come in and say, "You just lost Aston Villa," but honestly, I actually
Listen, let me
wonder.
tell you guys, Chelsea will defeat Liverpool tomorrow. Put your money on it.
John McGinnis
Oh,
turned
we're
it
gonna have,
into in the
we're
yesterday.
gonna have another forfeit.
Yeah.
Oh my
Hold on,
goodness,
are we
guys.
doing more forfeits here?
Is there another forfeit?
Yeah,
They
we
don't.
need to decide the forfeit for Kes in a
Don't
second.
worry, you learn. You guys will Don't
I
learn.
love it.
Right, let's quickly. So, Tom, I think, Tom, what's your who makes third and fourth? Because we still got, I think, 2 more topics just to speak about. So, who's your third and fourth, Tom?
Well, really, it depends on the result tomorrow with Man United, West Ham. Because I know it also depends on the Liverpool-Chelsea result. I've said it all week. I do think Chelsea are going to get something out of the game. I think it's just going to be a draw. And then the Wolves game, they're going to just blitz past Wolves and get the third place. No problem. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they don't. So I do think third is going to Chelsea. But what some people actually know about is tomorrow. Man United, the goal difference between Leicester and Man United is equal. So if Man United, let's say Man United win tomorrow by 3-0, for example, they go into the Leicester game 3 points ahead of Leicester. So Leicester have to win the game, but they have to win the game by 4 clear goals. Otherwise,
No. That's wrong. That's wrong because they we're playing each other. So you've got to understand that our goal difference will go down. So if we beat West Ham, for example, 4-0, right?
It goes down with every goal that's conceded. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, like, if Leicester City, say, for example, beat us 2-0, then our goal difference will be -2, and theirs will obviously be +2, so it'll be equal. Am I making sense? So essentially, even if United were to beat West Ham, let's say 4-0,
Some algebra going on here.
So essentially, what I'm saying is because they play each other.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you see a lot of United.
But the goal difference does play a part because it depends on how many goals you scored on the final day.
It does.
And I have said it all along. I've said it for the past 3 or 4 podcasts. If you want to go back and watch it, whenever we talked about the top 4, it's going to go down to the last day. There's no way it's not going to go down to the last day. I'd be very surprised because obviously Leicester winning with what you've just said and what I've just said and everything.
Ooh.
It's
George,
a game.
says Chelsea will lose both games.
Good.
Hopefully, George.
Let's. It can happen. With Chelsea, it can happen. Anything can happen. Leicester might blitz Man United 5-0. You never know. It's football at the end of the day. Leicester went and won the league when there was 5,000 to 1 to go and win the league. So anything can happen in football. That's the thing that we've always got to remember. But I think Man United need to bounce back from the defeat, obviously, to Chelsea. I do think that's going to happen against West Ham. Going to get them 3 points clear of Leicester. And then I think it's just, even if they draw, it's, they've qualified. So anything but a loss against Leicester, Man United qualify either way. I've already said Chelsea, for me, are going to qualify third. I'm going to put Man United as fourth. I can't see Leicester. They've got to rely on one game. Yeah, they've got a week to prepare, but Brendan Rodgers at the moment, he's got to try and motivate these players, and he didn't motivate them against Tottenham, and they got spanked 3-0 by Mourinho. And, all the other, he got done over by Eddie Howe. Bournemouth are already relegated pretty much. So, yeah, and you got done 4-1. It's Eddie Howe for crying out loud, and Bournemouth, they're playing in the Championship next year. I don't think Leicester, for a bad reason. I'll just say this last part and then you can move on. In terms of Leicester, at the start of the season, if you would have said to Leicester, you playing the Champions League, they'd have bit your hand off, your arm off, anything off to get that. But just to say for Leicester to play in Europe, because whoever finishes 5th anyway is still going to play in Europe, you've got to think. For Leicester to play in the Europa League still, that's still a massive achievement for them to say they haven't played in that since they won the title. So for them, I think it's still a good place, even if they got 5th, because they're still going to play in the European competition anyway. So, but anyway, I'm going to go Chelsea 3rd and Man United 4th.
Okay, let me just bring KSI into this. 1 second. Okay.
Just before that, I just want to say, never underestimate a team that's in the relegation battle.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, what is this, the Villa result? Is it?
Yeah, just before
They're playing out their lives.
Or just West Ham general. Oh, Georgia B says Leicester missing some key players as well. That is a very good point as well, actually.
Yeah, they're missing both fullbacks and
Oh dear.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah, obviously, Soyuncu's out for not because of injury.
He's done for suspension
For
games.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. KSI coming in. Okay. What are your thoughts? Who gets those final two spots?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Chelsea, Man United.
Chelsea, Man United.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Yep.
Mute and on to the
Yeah,
next.
sweet and simple. Sweet and simple. I like it.
Fair enough. Chelsea, Man United. Hey, Rasmus, hope you're doing well, buddy. Thanks for joining the stream. Get your questions in. Really appreciate
Aston Villa's just won 1-0, by the way.
Congratulations, Aston Villa. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done.
Maybe I'm the only optimist, but for me, I'm gonna stay. I probably am gonna. I'm probably gonna go with actually United to finish third. I'm gonna go with United to finish third because I would no comment. Okay, you could say
Is there going to be a forfeit on this then? Is there going to be a forfeit
there
on
will be
this?
because I anticipate.
If I speak, I mean.
If I
If I speak, I'm in trouble.
Is there a forfeit on this?
At the end of the day,
United third.
I anticipate Manchester United will beat West Ham at home. Okay, based the evidence on previous fixtures,
And they need to bounce back.
for sure to bounce back. Okay. I do not think that even if
There's a certain battering ram called Antonio. Remember him, yeah?
there is, but he played last season under, and we still beat West Ham. We still beat.
Well, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way though. But just saying.
Yes, KSI.
See the forfeit, right? I'll just do it on stream, but just tell me what the forfeit.
We'll tell you what the forfeit is at the end. I think I'll give Josh and Destroy some time to think about what it is. So you get to think what the forfeit is going to be.
If I don't have in the house, then I'll just buy and then just record it and then just send it to you.
Yeah, it's not going to be any.
Whatever.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Right. Let me just finish my point. So basically, at the end of the day, I think the United are going to beat West Ham. Are most likely going to beat West Ham. Even if Chelsea, I can't see Chelsea going to Anfield and beating Liverpool. You know, if you do,
I think it's a draw. It's a draw written over it.
A draw possibly, but a win, I can't see that. So irrespective, United will go into third because we'll be above you, right? Just
by a point.
Okay, by
a point.
By point, yeah. Yes, it'll be by point. Then going into Wolves and Leicester game, right? Do I see Chelsea comfortably beating Wolves? I'm not 100% sure about that either. Because
they've been really inconsistent since
because we've seen it. Because this is the thing with Arsenal and Chelsea, is that it's like you get excited because you've beaten Manchester City, and then the subsequent 2 weeks you lose to Sheffield United and West Ham. Much like Arsenal,
which is exactly why I expect them to. I see them beating Liverpool tomorrow. You know, those times when you expect Chelsea to perform are the times that they underperform, and when you expect them to underperform, those are the times that they perform. The game against Manchester City, remember? The game against Leicester City.
When was the last time you beat Chelsea at Anfield, Liverpool at Anfield?
When was the last time we beat Liverpool?
When Gerrard slipped.
It was in the cup.
Yeah,
it was in the cup competition.
Villa 17.
The cup competition.
Their strongest side. Yes, that was 2-0 victory.
Oh, actually, this is good. Okay, we'll actually put this. I'll let my point that I think United will be third and Chelsea will be fourth. That's my 2 cents. But Rasmus actually has before we move on, just quickly, because we're going to run out of time. Because I don't know if you guys talked about this or not, but what are your thoughts on the sacking of Pearson? I am absolutely crazy, and really hope that they go down. Quick thoughts on Nigel Pearson sacking?
Discuss them. Absolutely discuss them. You know, Watford, they're in a relegation battle. And you're sacking your manager with 2 games to go. Well, actually 1 game to go now because they've just lost to Man City 4-0 down. You know, who sacks a manager with 2 games to go? You know, it's like when I don't know. Say if Eddie Howe got sacked at Bournemouth, you'd be saying the same thing. You know, any club. You know, there's 2 games to go. And you're still in danger because Watford can still go down, I think.
And Tom, I think it's going to come back to bite them. This is so weird. This is genuinely. I know I'm sounding like a hater or like soft here, but this is like the only time I wanted Arsenal to lose because I want Watford to go down after sacking their managers. Like they have three managers a season. As if they're just like pieces of meat.
To be fair, it seems that like from when I read the article, I don't think it was like they sacked them to the Man City. So I think there was, when I read what actually happened, it looks like there was like a verbal altercation between him and the ownership. So I don't think it was just
because the owners come out and said that they don't, in future seasons, they're not going to buy players that managers want and invest in projects and plans for some stupid reason. But, we talk about Arteta, and he's building a project there. He needs money, to build that project. Exactly the same with any team. It doesn't matter if you're a team from the caliber of Bayern Munich or if you're Accrington Stanley. A manager's going to have a project. You've got to invest in that project.
Well,
if you don't, they don't have a manager.
Well, look at bite them. I'm sure of it. They're going to get relegated.
Look at Sheffield United.
But they still go through the ranks.
Yeah, but I don't know, like the manager. I don't think the manager's been asking for millions and millions, has he?
No,
like he's openly talked about checkbook policies and how he doesn't agree with all that stuff.
I saw when I look at the Watford team. If you look at the start of the season, look at the Watford team, and then put that alongside the Sheffield United team, you can't tell me convincingly that's
exactly the same with what you said. With what you're saying there. Towards the beginning of the season, Watford were I think they were bottom of the league and they were 6 points adrift. But Nigel Pearson took them out of that, obviously, for a considerable amount of time. Now they're back in it on goal difference by 1 because Villa's won tonight, 1-0. And obviously going into the last day, it's not in Watford's hands. They've got to now hope, whoever plays Aston Villa, I can't remember who plays Aston Villa, they've got to hope that Aston Villa don't win. They get beat at least by 1 or more goals.
Who's playing Aston Villa in the last day of the season? I don't think it's
Watford.
By the way, Villa have just defeated
West Ham.
Yeah,
West Ham.
It's West Ham. So West Ham are effectively safe now. So
where's that?
Arsenal against Watford. Arsenal Watford down.
Arsenal against Watford. So Arsenal could.
I hope. Come on, Arsenal.
Because I think there'll be a lot of Arsenal fans will be like Troy Deeney and Kahunas and stuff like that. So
Troy Deeney's a mug.
All I'm saying is I think I get the whole money sort of backing sort of thing.
Yeah.
At the same time, I look at that Watford squad of the players they have, and I look at some of the other squads above them. I'm like, they still do have the players they have in that team are still good enough to at least be competing in the Premier League compared to if you put the two teams on paper. So, but the constant sacking of managers, the inconsistency of background,
this is what I mean. You need to stick with a process, and you need to believe in a process. Like obviously Arsenal are believing in Arteta.
But let me quickly move on. So because we've just got 2 more topics. So Juventus essentially a Serie A champions elect. I think this is their 9th in a row. This is their 9th in a row. Congratulations, obviously, to Juventus. I think it's great they're able to Ronaldo obviously can lift another trophy. I guess in terms of the ball, in terms of the question, and here it goes. You should probably be able to see that. Better plays West Ham. Yeah, thanks, Georgia B. What is essentially the? I don't want to keep this open-ended question because I think this might be. I'll just give one question actually. Do you credit Juventus's Serie A win because of Sarri, the coach, or because of the lack of competitiveness of Serie A? That's the question. Did they win this because Sarri was good, successful, or was it because the Serie A wasn't competitive? So I'll ask that to Offside first.
Good question.
Hello?
Hello, yeah? Did you hear me? Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I guess what I said is that did Juventus win Serie A because of Sarri, his success, or because Serie A is just not competitive?
Serie A is just not competitive, and Juve are just Juve. I think Juve is just a side that there are sides that they say there are sides in certain leagues that they say they don't need a manager or they don't need a big manager for them to win the title. We're talking about Bayern, for example. Talking about PSG, Juve. As things are,
Mm,
Serie A may be tougher than these leagues or more competitive than these leagues, but
mm,
I feel like Juve had better players and a better
mm,
structure to win the league by a canter as compared to this. I mean, at some point it seemed like they were limping towards the title at the end of the day. You see them struggling with 1-0 victories. Juve were more entertaining with the previous manager. What's his name? I've forgotten his name. With
Allegri.
their Allegri, yeah. They were more entertaining to watch, and they seemed more progressive, more organized, and everything, more entertaining than Sarri. With Sarri, it just seems like they struggle, to get the job done. And in the long run, I don't think that will be sustainable. So for me, it's more about Serie A not being competitive. At some point, we saw Lazio. Lazio seemed like they were about to do it, and somehow after this the restart, they finally slumped down to fourth place, and I think Atalanta are currently second, but about 7 points behind or 6 points behind Juve. It's not a good promotion or advert for the league, honestly.
mm.
And it's for me, it's not down to Sarri at all. In a
Okay.
different league, he would have totally blown it. In a different league,
I mean, he left you guys. I mean, to be
yeah.
fair, Sarri left you. Sarri gave you guys top four in a Europa League. So is he really that bad?
He gave who guys? Who guys did he give top
Oh, he called out Chelsea there.
No, listen, no,
Wow.
just chill. Okay, see, here's the thing, right? There are times where when I see a team or when I watch a performance the course of a full season, I try to think about, points that were dropped, games that were lost, and all that. And, to analyze if there were situations where they could have done better, if the team was equipped to have done better, and, where the manager may have made mistakes and all that. And for me, especially at the beginning of the season, there were several times Chelsea should have, comfortably won certain games. But due to his own stubbornness or his own, I don't know,
He's sorry,
ineptitude or
boy.
whatever, being who he is, Chelsea dropped those points. So I feel like even currently with Lampard, there are times where Chelsea
Yeah.
should have gained more points, in
Mm.
certain games, but due to maybe his inexperience or one thing
Yeah.
here and there, they drop points. The team may be armed with the right players to produce and to do better. And even if we eventually end up winning a trophy or making top four, I mean, it doesn't mean that the team played to its strength. The same thing I said about Liverpool. Liverpool, in my opinion, it's an unpopular statement, but Liverpool have had a mixed season. In the league, they did overwhelmingly well, but as a season, as a whole, in other competitions, Liverpool underperformed, in my opinion. They left the cup competitions way too early. They left the Champions League way too early. And for me, it points to the manager himself and his lack of willingness to risk it all. A team that wins the title the way Liverpool has should be, talking about winning the treble, even if it's a domestic treble, all those things. So it's not just about the manager. The team can be better armed to win more trophies that they eventually win at the end of the season.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thanks. That's a good insight. I really appreciate it. Josh coming in. So same question really. Is this Sarri or is this Syria's lack of conviction? In fact, let me show you guys. I want to quickly just show you this. I saw this actually. This was the last team to win. I think this is this is the last team to basically win Serie A before Juventus. Do you see that team there?
Yeah.
Do you see that team?
Yeah.
Ronaldinho, Inzaghi, Pirlo,
Leicester.
Rubinho, Gattuso, man. I mean, I know these guys look like they're, Seedorf, obviously, they're probably, these are not in their prime sort of thing, but still, Ibrahimovic, this squad of players, Thiago Silva, and so on, that was the squad that basically was the last non-Juventus team to basically lift, the Serie A title. And, at least one or two of those players have retired now, which says something about it. So, But yeah, sorry, Josh, go on. I just thought I would show that because I think it's quite potent. Go on, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go on, Barry or
I was gonna say I wasn't speaking. What was your question? I wasn't even speaking. I was upstairs getting my phone.
The question is that with the Serie A, is it that Juventus won this because of the lack of competitiveness, or was it due to Sarri? So which one was it?
No, it's definitely not due to Sarri. Definitely not. Especially because Juve fans are complaining about him for the whole season. I mean, the football he plays is boring and things like that. It's just the other teams are poor. Juve obviously have the best team. It's weird because I see teams like Atalanta into other teams. I mean, Atalanta, I think last season, I believe it was. I'm not sure. I definitely don't think it was this season. But last season, I think they scored the most goals in this area. And this season, I mean, since the restart, they've been scoring 3 or 4 goals a game. But Juve still win. It's just like it's not just boring. Like I know, I just can't be bothered. Like with the Serie A, like it's not what it used to be. I don't know if there's still match fixing and things going on, considering Juve are just clear of everybody all the time. Oh my days! Hold on, I'm meeting my mic.
Ooh. Okay, we're back. Right, okay. I'll come back. I'll go to Shawnee. Sarri or the lack of competitiveness in Serie A?
Yeah, you could like say that's like a little bit of both. I think he does have a little bit of an impact on the team. You know, he is from the country. He knows I guess the league, and he can sort of motivate players in a certain way. But at the same time, you know, the competition isn't super fierce. You know, it's not like Real Madrid, Barcelona, or you know, like Bayern Munich, Dortmund, or something like that. You know, because generally the leagues like the Bundesliga, maybe not the Premiership this season, but the La Liga and the Serie A, they were fairly tight, you know, midway through the season. And even, you know, Munich to go on and win it, when, you know, a few podcasts ago, we were like saying like, oh, you know, it's kind of neck and neck, like who's going to win it, to just go on and just, you know, absolutely, you know, batter everyone and just get to that number one spot so convincingly and consistent. Was just fantastic, and it just proves that there is a little bit of soul in the Bundesliga, that, you know, where there is competition there. So in Serie A, it was the same. It was kind of the same thing. You know, Juventus at one stage, I think they were only like a point in front, and it was like kind of like, well, you know, what's going on here? But to a certain extent, you know, Sarri did manage. I mean, I never think it's by mistake that a team wins a league anywhere in the world. You know, it does. I don't like to say it because I don't think I'm not like a massive Sarri fan or anything, but I do think it does have a small element to do with the manager, because he does have.
He's obviously coached the players to win it.
Yeah, exactly. And he has to, he's coached them. He has to motivate them, you know, to go out onto the pitch and perform. Even if it is, you know, a weak league, they still have to win. And at the end of the day, the table doesn't lie. You know, they got the most, or they got the best results, or they got better results than anybody else in the league. And yeah, that's down to the manager and the team. And yeah, like I say, it's not like that is another team there that's, you know, particularly amazing, shall we say? But just Juventus stayed the most consistent to the end, kind of like what Munich did. You know, obviously the Premiership this season was maybe the odd one out. So yeah, I just say like it's maybe like I say, no fierce competition, but the manager does have to get the team to that certain level to go on and win games.
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough. So let me just quick before I bring Tom in, let me just get KSI to come in. Right. Okay, KSI, yeah, just quickly. Juventus winning the Champions League, was that due to Sarri, or was that due to the Serie A being not competitive? Oh, KSI, can you hear me? You can't hear me. Okay, fine. Tom, same question.
Personally, I think exactly the same as most people. It's just because the league's not that competitive. You could clearly see with Sarri when he came to England, the Premier League, his style of football didn't suit the Premier League at all. Yeah, he got the top four, but Chelsea fans weren't happy with the way that, the football that they were seeing. Regardless of he went and won a trophy and got them the top four. That's not what football's about. Football's about being entertained and enjoying what you're watching. And if you don't enjoy what you're watching, then there needs to be a change, obviously. I haven't really watched Juventus that much under Sarri because I'm not a big fan of his, to be honest with you. I don't particularly like the brand of football he plays. It doesn't get you off your seat and excite you, if I'm being honest. I didn't mind watching Allegri, and Allegri is similar to Sarri in some parts, but he's more expansive and he plays a bit more attacking, more possession, keep the ball and create something, rather than Sarri's more of a, let's just try and hold back to what we've got, get a goal and hold back. But that's not really the kind of football I like watching. I like watching the fast-paced, flowing football that we all like to see. And Juventus over the last couple of years haven't had a team to match them, to knock them off of their perch, should we say, in terms of in the Italian league. But obviously, I said it a couple of podcasts ago when we talked about if Sarri is going to be at Juventus long term. I personally don't see it happening. I think Juventus is a club that want to win the Champions League. Can I see Maurizio Sarri winning the Champions League with them? No. He's won the Italian league. He's won the Italian league, but for Juventus, they've won that for like the past 9 years, like you've said. And if they win it next year, they've won it for a decade. Do they really want to be winning that? That's a minimum for them. They want to win the Champions League. That's the main goal for them when they go into a season, is to win the Champions League, not to win the Italian league. And I already said, I don't particularly think Sarri is the manager long term, because I put names out there. I said Pochettino and all these managers could run that club to possibly winning a Champions League. And it's football that you'd want to see at the end of the day. Juventus, great to them. They've obviously done well over the season to get to the point of winning the league. Like Sean, you said, when you win a league, it doesn't matter what league it is. It doesn't matter if it's the Premiership from, the Japanese league. You've won a league title. It does mean something, because you've had to outwittle, I don't know how many teams in your own league.
Sorry to interrupt you, Tom. So I've seen this question by Erasmus, and actually going to the final segment, just running out a bit of time. So I just want a quick yes or no answer from you guys. Erasmus says, do you guys think Sarri should be sacked if Juve failed to overturn a deficit against Lyon? So just quickly go out to everyone. So Tom says yes. Offside.
Yeah.
Is this his first season?
So right now, Juventus are down 1-0 to Lyon, and this is his first season. Yeah.
Then no.
Okay.
Wow.
3-1. Fair enough. Right, we need to quickly move on, sorry, because we're running out a bit of time. So, Ballon d'Or cancelled. So, I
saw you tweet about conspiracies and
I've seen that the trial. I won't get the post up because Ballon d'Or it is a in quote French competition, and to paraphrase the actual sort of the report, basically, as to the reasons for why they cancelled this whole thing. Essentially, they felt that because of the current circumstances behind the current events, I won't use the C word, current events, they thought the integrity of sport was in question, so they thought that they had to cancel the Ballon d'Or.
Mm-hmm.
Now, bearing in mind, obviously, this is French football because when Ballon was it's a French league. They joined with UEFA a while back, and bearing in mind that obviously France cancelled the league. A part of me does wonder whether there was an element of, well, everyone needed to get the leagues up to scratch. France didn't. They cancelled much prematurely. Whether that played into the hands of the ban not being cancelled. But regardless, I think the question to end is not about whether it should be cancelled or not. My question is just based on what we've seen so far, as difficult as it is because we don't know what the Champions League result was. Who do you think deserves to win the Ballon d'Or this season? So and I'll start with, and everyone just give me like one name and just a brief reason, like literally like a minute reason for it to finish. So Josh, who do you think deserved the Ballon d'Or so far, and a brief reason as to why?
Lewandowski, and just because of his stats this season, incredible. He's obviously been smashing the Bundesliga for how many seasons now, but doesn't have a Champions League, things like that. I think their defense is a lot better this season, though, so that's why they've been a lot clearer of people this season, and they've done well in Champions League, won all their games in the group stages. So Lewandowski, easy for me.
Yep, George, we agree with Lewandowski as well. Shawnee, who do you think?
Yeah, it was actually the guy that was on the show last week that he brought up all of his, basically who Lewandowski is. He just reminded me. And so he kind of won me over. So I'll go with that. So yeah,
Lewandowski. Okay. Tom, quick thoughts.
Well, I think Lewandowski is obviously the prime, answer as to who should win it. There's obviously going to be Messi and Ronaldo in the conversation with how many times they've won it in the past and whatnot. But based off of this season, Lewandowski should have won it. If he had to put somebody in there as maybe a bit of a surprise one, I do think Lewandowski should have won it. But if I had to put somebody in there as a bit of a surprise one, as much as it pains me to do it and it hurts me to say it, Sadio Mane has impressed me at Liverpool over the last this season. No, I know his stats last season were a lot better, say with equaling, what two players did, what Salah and Aubameyang did with the Golden Boot. But in terms of performance as an overall team, like the way he's helped the team at Liverpool and everything, he has ultimately driven Liverpool on to go on and win the Premier League title. And we're renowned the Premier League as the hardest league in the world to win. And the best league in the world to win. That's what a lot of people think anyways. So I do think that Sadio Mane should be in the conversation, as much as it hurts me to say that. But I'd probably say Lewandowski should win it, yeah.
Okay. Offside. What's your quick thoughts? Who should win the Ballon d'Or? Who should have...
First of all, let me just start with what Tom said. Ideally, if Liverpool had this season, put out a performance this season, as they did 2 seasons ago, progressing in the Champions League and some other competitions other than just the Premier League, I think this would have been the best. With other sides or other players performing the way they've done this season, I think this would have been the season that one of their players, Manchester City's players, as they performed in previous seasons, would have won it. But in my opinion, I feel like generally individuals have underperformed this season. By the standard of the Ballon d'Or, I think individuals have underperformed, and normally based on the performances of Lewandowski, I wouldn't say that in a normal season, as we've been used to seeing, he wouldn't be deserving of the Ballon d'Or. But as they say in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So it's simply based on that I would just say, if someone has to take it, I would give it to Lewandowski. Not because he has, put out performances that would say, this guy is really so good, based on the standard of Messi and Ronaldo that we've seen in recent times. But if one has to take it, Lewandowski has to take it, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Thank you, Side. And just in case Sai is back, KSA, I'll give quick that question as well. So see Ballon's cancelled. So quick thing on who should win it and why.
It's very controversial, but I think Cristiano Ronaldo should win it.
Okay, it's not completely controversial, but we've got why.
Because I think Ronaldo, he's done too much for Juventus. Because people are not all about goals and assists because he plays in Serie A. But I think Ronaldo's got more, goals and assists than Messi this season. And people are on about Messi and that. Messi plays in La Liga. Ronaldo, I think, plays in a harder league. Just Barcelona, Real Madrid, in La Liga, and I think Juventus might win the Champions League. So that's why I say I'll go with Cristiano Ronaldo. So my opinion, I think Cristiano Ronaldo is doing it.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks for that. Thank you. I mean, I don't think that's a crazy opinion. I think it's difficult because the Champions League, if Ronaldo scores the goal in the final of the Champions League and won it with Juventus, then I don't think anyone could really have that much to complain if Ronaldo got the Ballon d'Or, if that's what happened. If that happened, it's be difficult to not give him if he's won Serie A and the Champions League and scored in the Champions League final to semi-final. But the chances of that happening, you don't know. So, but I think based on the information we have, it seems to be there's a general consensus that Lewandowski should have won it. So, thank you guys, everyone, so much obviously for getting involved. Thanks Offside, who's come on. Hopefully, you can come on the future podcast. Really appreciate having a Chelsea fan on here to give a diverse range of opinion as well. We really, really appreciate it. And thanks everyone else for coming on. Just for those who are listening, thank you for watching again. Both George B and Erasmus, always a pleasure. We'll be back hopefully next week when we'll probably be doing a reflection because the final standings of the Premier League will be revealed, and so we'll probably be doing a reflection podcast and have a discussion on where the future is for these clubs. So take care, everyone. Have a good evening and cheers.
I wish United the least of luck. Bye.